Generals Mattis and Dunford taking the Hill. America's top defense officials briefing senators on military action in Syria. This as reports indicate the president may want Arab countries to police their own neighborhoods. Here now is David Sears. He's a retired Navy SEAL. David, an Arab force in Arab lands, frankly, it sounds good. It makes a lot of sense, but is it possible?
It does make a lot of sense. Is it possible is the big question. I think it is possible. I think Saudi Arabia has been asking for it for a while. They were denied it under the Obama administration, and we should take another hard look at it and allow them to police their own area of the world.
Particularly when a lot of Americans share what President Trump said, at least when he was campaigning to be president, about not wanting to be the policeman to the world. Recently, of course, the president was criticized for saying that he wanted to pull the troops out of Syria. And of course, he famously criticized President Obama for saying the same about getting troops out of Iraq and doing so leading to the development of ISIS. But Lindsey Graham, who was listening to the generals, had something to say about this. Let's take a listen and get your response.
I think this whole argument about withdrawing has really hurt us. I think the combination of we're leaving Syria in a very weak military response it makes ISIS think we're leaving.
What do you think of that, David?
I don't think so. I couldn't disagree more. I think that I don't know what Senator Graham's pushing for, perpetual war, but of course it's common sense to say we should get our troops out of a place as quickly as possible. That's not laying a timeline on it. And I don't believe that ISIS is a resurgent power that we have to keep on top of. We destroyed the caliphate. Now you have to watch it, but I think that we've mitigated largely what they can do.
Well, David, you're a Special Forces guy, and I remember famously after 9/11, the Special Forces getting rid of the Taliban in Afghanistan, just a few hundred of them, of our people. Could we do the same if we see ISIS raising its head again in Syria, if we pull out our troops? Could we send in the Special Forces guys, maybe just a couple of hundred of them, to deal with it?
I think you could send in a combination of that, plus we just demonstrated we can do strikes relatively quickly wherever we want in the world, essentially. So that, with a combination of special operations and good intelligence, whether it's signals intelligence or human intelligence on the ground, can mitigate a lot of these things and keep them in check.
Final question, David. Last weekend, a lot of us were kind of holding our breath, hoping that there wasn't a direct confrontation between our forces hitting sites inside Syria and the Russians directly. Were you holding your breath as well?
No, not at all. I think that they were looking at General Mattis, or Secretary Mattis, was looking to be very strategic about the impacts of a tactical strike. And so they sort of gave some advertisement out there. We already saw the Russians move their ships out to sea. I think that everybody was kind of prepared for a measured, limited strike, which was good.
Was it strong enough?
Absolutely. I think it was. The idea is not necessarily just to take out the chemical weapons, which we'll see where that leads, but it's a message to the rest of the world, to North Korea, to Iran, to Russia, that we're willing to act.
Absolutely. David Sears, good to see you, my friend. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, David.